Greetings there, my fellow campfire chefs. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to The Last Plague Blight, Episode 5, Tall Posts for a Smoker. Here's my salt. Salt dissolves when it's wet. So what's important to note is if it's in your backpack and your backpack gets wet, the salt will disappear. If you put it in water... Oh, speaking of which, it is raining. Given that it is currently raining, I don't want my tools to get rusty, so I am going to put them away in here, in this box, to try to keep them dry. But I'll prove that about the salt. So I'll just take one salt, put it in my backpack, and stand out in the rain, and you'll see the salt disappear. It's gone. Salt's poofed. So yeah, keep your salt dry, or it will go bye-bye. But the things in the stick crate that is under the roof stay dry, I hope. We'll see. Alright, I'm just going to drop the hides here. I don't have a method to process them yet. And start to collect stone for a new fireplace. I only really need one stone to start it. How do you rust a stone bronze saw? I mean, you know, everything rusts. And my knife is 4% rusted, and my hatchet is 2% rusted. I want to keep it as dry as possible. Okay, this place here can be built on. So I'll start a fire pit and set my thin trunks up around it. Having a fire pit right next to water source is going to be really nice, so that I can easily gain to fill up my water bowls for to keep hydrated. Working on tasks that don't require tools when it's raining is a good idea, so you don't rust your tools. So there's the tall posts, and then we want the support posts, the support beams, so I need to get long sticks and plant ropes. It's also worth noting my my fire is going out fast because of the rain. So there's really no point in like refueling it right now, because it's gonna burn out as a result of all the rain. Oh, actually it stopped raining. Well, that's nice, because being wet all the time kind of sucks. And all the dirt on the ground is now mud. So if you wanted to, like, collect a lot of mud to make mud daub walls or something like that, right after it rains is a good time to do it, or during rain. Then up here, I'm going to do stick rafters. And I need just a bunch of long sticks and plant ropes to get that done. It's probably... I'm not going to refuel this, this fireplace. I'm going to move it over to the new location. But I will use it. So time to go into the woods and forage for dogbane and longstick. I'm also grabbing pine cones for, like, just cheap pine pine nut food. The other advantage of eating pine nuts is there's a lot of like medicines that you can make, and most of the medicines are taken with water. So if you're well hydrated, you can't actually drink the medicines. So foods that are salty or dehydrating can actually be at a bit of advantage because you can drink more liquids afterwards. So I'm going to update the priority to be a little bit more specific. Build a roofed fire pit. Building a whole shelter is obviously way bigger of a task than what I'm taking on right now, but a roofed fire pit is a good start. I might also change exactly where the fire pit is. What I want to do is I want to put it in the wattle walls and then shove the fire pit right in the edge of it. Or something. Yeah, you'll see. I have a concept in mind. There. If you hold sticks, you can, you can keep more sticks in your inventory. There is a bigger backpack that you can craft, but it requires leatherworking, and I haven't started that yet. So I have room for 2 more long sticks. 1, 2, and now I'm topped up. Hello, wolf. So wolves are just, like, more dangerous than coyotes, as you can imagine. Don't mess with wolves early game. It's not healthy for you. You recover a little bit of health while sleeping, but, like, not a lot. So if you constantly spar with wolves, you will eventually succumb. And I'm trying to keep my deaths to 0. So, stand the hell away from them. You can spot dogbane farther out than it will even highlight on the terrain. With the left alt highlighting. So sometimes I just like sit still and look at the right. Oh, that dogbane is covered by the wolf. So if I want to get the dogbane where the wolf is, I can throw a spear at the wolf before the wolf spots me to scare it away. So I'm going to do that. Or I'm just going to throw it into the ground. Good job, mate. Apex Hunter right here. Okay, I only have room for 2 more dogbane. That should be easy to top up. Will the world look more withered? It doesn't really look withered so much as it just looks green, clouded, and full of green fungus. And more of the map terrain will be impassable as a result. What roof to build over the fire pit? Leaf or clay? Clay is going to be a lot more of an investment. It's not necessary. It's mostly aesthetics. With one caveat, but I'm not going to share what the caveat is. Which is to say it doesn't really matter in the long run. That is the important bit. But if you want a clay tile roof, I would start to fire up. I would have to make a clay kiln and fire up clay tiles in the clay kiln. Totally fine if you want me to do that. It's just going to take a lot longer. And it will affect my ultimate design. But happy to do it if you want. More reasonably, what I could do is leaf roof now. And then once I have the capacity to make clay tiles in mass, do clay tile roof. Actually, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I would want a fireproof fire now, but I can make it nicer later. Alright, so the other thing I wanted to do is make a little gate here. So I'm going to put a fence post in with some sticks. Oops. Stick gate. Is that the way I wanted it? I'll have to double check. You can rebuild for pretty much free, so if it's not exactly how you want it, it's not a big deal. Alright, so I need to collect more long sticks for that.
Hey!
Hi! Bye, bud! Wife brought me more coffee, and, the rattling brought me happiness. So the reason I want a little gate here is I want access to be able to fill up my water easily. So putting a little gate next to where I'm going to have a fire pit is going to make it really easy to get access to water, while also keeping predators out. So I can fill up my water like this, and have the gate block, like rabbits from getting in my shelter or whatever. I don't really want to carry the pine cones around with me, so I'm just going to stick them in the... prepped to go into the fire, but not necessarily all the way in. So I'm looking for more long sticks. I could do without the noise of mud. I don't have misophonia, but this mud noise is just... It's the audio equivalent of the word moist. Let's leave it at that. So they brought both the same thing? Yes, happiness in both coffee and child form. Why do I have my shovel with me? That's dumb. My shovel's taking up so much room that I'm not able to, like, pick up long sticks as a result. Someone did not plan accordingly. Look, I'm a dual-wielding wizard. Anti-ASMR? ASMR? Yes. Exactly. Whoa, coyote! Don't get in a fight with coyote when you're dual-wielding sticks, because you can't fight. I'd have to, like, drop the sticks in a panic. Also, I am, if I'm near a river, I need to be going east to go home. I don't know which way east is, so I have to drop some sticks to figure that out. East is that way. Okay. Never, ever leave your compass. Never lose your compass. You can't get it back. So yeah, I could have also just figured the rivers to my south and figured out east that way. If I was smart, I'm not smart, so I had to, you know, pull the compass out. So which way does this gate swing? Nope, I built it wrong. It's fine. I'll just rebuild it. Oh, I can't place the... Okay, even where my gate post is wrong. Because it's not letting me build the other half of it. So, take apart. And yeah, you can disassemble like as many times as you want. So this is how I like to build gates. That's still too far in the water. You know, I actually might change where the fence... No, that would be too much deep construction. Maybe I'll put the fence post like this. That's not in the water, right? No. So I like to put build my fence post like this, and I'll explain why. It's because, like, you can get, like, trapped if it swings wrong. Whereas if you have it, like, slightly diagonal or slightly triangular like that, it's easier to use. It'd be better if it was more of a triangle. It'd be better if it was like an equilateral triangle, but it's not a big deal that it's not. But the main gate to my cabin is going to be more equilateral triangle for that reason, so that I can, you know, open and close it like that. So there's the gate that leads to the water source. Truthfully, I probably don't need a gate long term, because what I can, given my geography here, I can easily just fence off the peninsula to keep wild animals out without having to use gates. But for now, before I take on a big project of like adding a giant fence, I'll just use gates. So with the gate in, we will start to build the fire pit itself. Oh, actually, I want the water walls first. Because I don't want to build the fire pit and then have it block the walls. So I'm planning on having this fire pit be part of the base, meaning that I don't want the walls everywhere. So what I'm going to do right now is to just lay out where the other posts are going to be without actually building the base. So it's not going to be rectangular. I'm going to have it like line up with the water. So it's going to be sort of rectangular. And clearly I need to move this tree because it's like in the way. At some point. And I'll show you some tricks about building. So I was planning to have it be like a 2x3, which I think is plenty of room for everything that you need without feeling too cramped. And in my 2x3, I'm also going to include a mushroom farm. So speaking about farming, most crops require sunlight except for mushrooms. Mushrooms require darkness. So when you're farming, you might have a place where you have mushrooms, and you might have a place where you have the rest of your crops. And you need to put your mushroom farm inside for that reason. Oh, that's an interesting place to stand while chopping up a tree. Don't hit your feet. There we go. This might be long plankable. Because of the lack of, like, small trees in this forest, any of the felled tree sections that can become long planks, I want to leave to become long planks. Because I think that's smart in the long run. Okay, so that's roughly the layout of the base. I think that will be plenty of room. And I'll put the main gate here. So I might do another low fence post gate. So I'm going to want short sticks for that. And I'm just laying out the layout of the base, not I'm not actually committing to building the whole thing right now. So the equilateral triangle fence post would look like that. With gates. And that way, I've had it where if you don't build your gates like this, when you build your gates on like a square wall, it will open and it will sweep. So if I built the gate here, it would open and sweep the entire, like 2/3 of the entire room, which takes up a lot of space. It monopolizes your base space quite a lot. So building like a little triangular gate like this allows you to keep your rooms free from being gated while also never getting stuck. Because there's also the case where, like, if you swing your gate all the way out, you have to, like, walk into the gate to be able to close it, right? So this allows you to open and close your gates really easily without, you know, too much trouble. So it's just a design I like. Whether you use it or not, I don't really care. But I'm certainly going to use it. Save me the trouble and the headache later on. And then the next thing that we want to do is we want to flatten out our floors. So the way it works is once you start building a floor, you get a chance to flatten things out to make them flush and nice. And then you don't have to commit to actually building the full floor, but you will have already flattened it, which is great. I'm also going to chop the stumps. So I think I'm planning on keeping this stump, and the other 3 stumps are for... no, actually, maybe I'll keep this stump. And then the other 4 stumps I'll chop up and remove. Especially these 3, which intersect where I want my floors to be. And getting rid of stumps is a lot of effort and work, and wears out your tools, and provides you not too much firewood, which is why I don't do it in most cases, unless it's blocking my construction. Because scrap wood is just... it's flammable, but it's not nearly as efficient as firewood. And then any wooden tools that I have, so like my shovel, for instance, once my shovel wears out entirely, I can turn that into scrap wood too. So like wooden tools turn to scrap. So the way to do this, there's a few different ways, but one way to do this is you grab your short planks, just some of them, doesn't matter how many, build with, and start a plank floor. And then you select your posts that you want your plank floor at. And before you build the floor, it will say, equip a shovel to level the ground. So there's 2 ways to level the ground. This is one way, where you flatten it out before you actually build the floor, leaving it nice and flat. And then I just take it apart, and now I have a very flat floor here. The other way is to left control smooth ground, and honestly, that you could do it that way. It's just like not very efficient, because you're just continuing to smooth, but it doesn't make it actually flat. So I like to flatten my ground like this. I'm only going to flatten this section because I'm only really building this one section here. The rest of the base would have to be an updated voted goal. So the last thing I want to do for this is to build a pine, for now, a temporary pine leaf roof over it so that it's watertight. And I need more dogbane for that. Meaning that I'm eventually moving out of this structure and I can break it down for resources. I just don't want to do that until I have the fire going, because fire keeps you safe from the things that want to eat you. This is weird. Adding from inventory is like not working. I don't know why. instead of looking for Dogbane, I'm actually just going to remove my old leaf roof. It's going to be faster to get the plant ropes that way. I'm lazy. And I should easily be able to finish this before next rainfall, because it did just rain. Alright, there we go. One thing that will happen is all of the heated and dried items that I had here, all these bones and flowers, I can't put back in to the next fireplace, so I'm going to have to make storage for them eventually. But let's go and take this fire pit apart. Some pretty hot stones. And collecting those dry chamomile petals triggered the brew chamomile tea task, but I'm not working on that either. As far as bones go, they're important for farming, but, like, not important enough that I'm going to make a entire box for them just yet, because I'm working on other things, so I'm just going to drop them on the ground. If they get wet, they'll dry back out. It's really not a big deal. So I did want to make, I did want to maybe build this wattle wall and then put the fireplace up against it, so it's not in the middle of the room. So I need 2 more sticks and 11 more long sticks. And everything that I can stockpile up, I'm doing to free up as much space for the long sticks as possible. Oh, there we go. So, I have basically an empty inventory, so I can go rummaging around, keeping only my hatchet. I don't even have my knife, because I don't really need it where I'm headed. Cool. I will move the bedroll, though, because I don't really want a wet bedroll. The game doesn't really care, but I do. So I'm going to put the bedroll under my leaf roof, so it stays nice and dry. Also, generally speaking, sleep pretty close to where your fire is, so that the fire actually protects you. Because if you're not actually sleeping close to your fire, you might wake up nose to nose with a bear, and like... Oh, speaking of which... and bears don't play. Grizzlies are grizzly. They will kill you very fast. Unless you know what you're doing. I have killed some grizzlies in this game. Not obviously in this playthrough, but I have killed some grizzlies, but like, yeah, don't fight them. They're also not... Unless you need a lot of animal fat for like tallow or something, they don't really provide you good resources either. They provide you some meat, but not enough meat to warrant the effort, in my opinion. So once I finish that wattle wall, I'm going to have you guys vote on the next task. If you want me to continue building up the shelter, feel free to vote for that. If you want me to pivot and work on tools or food or medicine or, you know, whatever else, feel free to vote accordingly. And pretty soon, I will have the mysterious letter stranger contact me, as that's up and coming. Oh, I'm out of space for long sticks. There. Space for 2 more. One task, to put my thumb on the scale a little bit. I don't mind working on journal tasks, but getting a larger backpack would be very, very nice. Because being restricted to my smaller backpack prevents me from efficiently foraging, because I fill up my small backpack very quickly. And that would require leatherworking, which is not that hard to do. And little pro tip, making giant leather backpacks as storage is honestly probably easier than making like wooden chests and the like. So in terms of storage, you've got stick crates, wooden chests, which require like bronze or iron nails and short planks, and then the sturdy wooden chests. The only advantage of the sturdy wooden chests is it keeps like animals from messing with your food. So if you have to deal with a lot of bears messing with your food, maybe a sturdy wooden chest warrants the effort, but it requires iron. And there's a lot better uses of iron than to make a chest out of, because iron can become steel, which can become weapons and all sorts of other stuff like that, right? So, my point is, one of the easy ways to make a lot of storage is to actually just use the leather from your kills to make bags, and then to set the bags on the ground and use them as storage. And I like to do it like that. Alright, I'm full up, so let's get back to camp. Looks pretty cool from here. Looks like you guys want me to work on a journal task, so I'll start that as soon as I'm done with this wattle wall. And I'll probably make a daub wattle wall, which shouldn't be too much more effort. It'll be my first daub wall. So that just requires a bunch of mud. Not a big deal. Funny to have a gate and I don't even have walls. So I did want that fire. So the daub walls, I'm going to collect mud, not in my own backyard. The daub walls are sturdier, and it's hard to talk about it without spoiling a little bit, so I'm going to be blue for the duration of a very small spoiler, but it's not a big spoiler. Later on in the game, you get the ability to distill liquids, and the requirement of running a distillery is that you need a part of your base that has like clay tile roofs and daub walls. But generally speaking, like, walls don't matter that much because most animals won't plow through your walls very quickly. So there will be one point where, like, I'll need a part of my shelter that is, like, more resistant to wind. But as long as you have, like, leaf roofs, you're resistant to rain, and that's, like, enough. So in order to make the daub wall, I need, like, 8k mud, which is a lot of mud. So I'm just filling my backpack full of mud for that project. With that in mind, living near water, not just for your own hydration, but also for all the mud and clay that you require to build, is like critical. So here we go. Wattle to daub wall. And this thing is pretty tanky. Like, wild animals aren't going to be able to get through that very quickly, and it does block the wind. So that's nice. So now with that built, I can set up the fireplace again. Wow, it will let me clip into the wall? That's weird. I'm not going to build it like that, though. Why didn't I use my shovel to get the mud? Yeah, I could have done that. The reason I didn't is it wears your shovel out, so I typically will only use my shovel for tasks that are required, so I don't wear the shovel out. Which is why I did it the way I did it. I'll also show that pine cones are kindling too. If you mouse over anything, it will tell you what it is. So like 3 pine cones is enough kindling to start a fire, or it can be treated as a fuel source. Speaking of fuel source, oh, actually, let's use all the scrap wood that I have. Might as well. Doesn't serve any other purpose. And now that I'm like kind of moving, I'm gonna want to change the location of my stockpiles because they're strewn about everywhere. So the advantage of this fire pit is once I want to make a smoking rack, I can fit a smoking rack above it because I have a higher roof. I have a thin trunk, tall post roof, which will allow a smoking rack above. Do we need a small chest inside too? Probably to keep the stuff dry, yeah. And I like to keep a stockpile of sticks. So let's try to move this bedroll so I have room for a chest. And I'll move the chest here or something. It's pretty tight. We'll expand upon it in the future. But you guys want me working on a journal task, so I'm going to work on that next. I've also been ignoring my cured sausage, which is really good starter food that I should not be just leaving behind, but whatever. Because this area is no longer protected from the elements, because I took the leaf roof off of it. Yep, it fits. Cramped, but it fits. I'm a little thirsty, but it's really easy to fix that. And then what else do I want to put away? Charcoal, salt, definitely salt. Keep your salt dry. There. Thank you for tuning in to The Last Plague Blight, which will really stream live on Twitch October 19th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that I'm trying to avoid spoilers to not ruin this game for others. So if you could avoid spoilers, that would be great. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Blight survivors.